Yeah, hey, this shit easy, nigga. Hey, all I'm talking about, nigga, I'm still out here trying to get it.
Contender Regime Boxing, checking back in with y'all, man. What's going on? So I was checking out a video on Fight Hype, and they were interviewing Brian McIntyre, aka Bomac. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to Bomac, Team Crawford. You know, trainer of Terrence Crawford, Maurice Hooker, Jamel Herring. And, you know, man, this shit was so funny. They asked Bomac, so what's your take on Errol the True Spence Jr. versus Manny Pac-Man Pacquiao going down August 21st in Vegas? You know what I'm saying? Biggest fight of the year, mega fight. You know, Tom Bot. You know what I'm saying? So they asked Bomac, man, how you feel about that fight? What's your take? Bomac was like, Bomac was like, he was pissed. He was upset. He said, you really want me to say it, huh? You really want me to say it? He looked like he sounded and looked like an angry kid, bro. Like, he said, man, I don't give a fuck about that fight. I don't give a fuck about that fight. And they kept trying to ask him the same question in different ways just to get him to open up on his feelings about that fight. And he like, man, look, I don't give a fuck about that fight. Obviously he does. And obviously he's salty as fuck that Terrence Crawford didn't get the fight. For whatever reason, they couldn't close that deal. And Errol the True Spence Jr., he got the Manny Pacquiao fight. And that's just a reflection of how things have been going with Terrence Crawford and Top Rank. Bomac is his manager. And to be honest with you, I don't know what they be having going on behind closed doors. I don't know what be happening in a meeting. So I can't really speak to, you know, the level of professionalism or how they really run their business for Team Crawford, how they work out with the matchmaking. I know the manager don't necessarily pick the fights, but I don't really know what they got going on over there, so I can't speak in detail to that. But I will say that Terrence Crawford has been making some good money in boxing. His family's good, all that straight. But when it comes to the legacy fights, the big fights, the name-known opponents, the guys that the fans gonna respect, the fights that's gonna lift Terrence Crawford up on that status where he's supposed to be, where he's revered and respected as the guy, the best fighter. Yeah, he's on many pound-for-pound lists, including mine. He was #1 on my pound-for-pound list at a point in time. That's changed, and I'll be releasing the new pound-for-pound list probably coming up on the 1st. You know what I'm saying? But, you know, Terrence Crawford just haven't been getting those marquee fights that's just going to take him to that next level. And I don't know if it's just bad management. We know with Bob Arum, the promotion side ain't there. So he's lacking on the management and the promotion side. And the matchmaking is good in the sense that Terrence Crawford is always in fights that he has a very high percentage chance of winning. So the matchmaking is good from that aspect, but not from the aspect of putting him in there with guys that he can win, but also can beat him. And the fans believe that the opponent can possibly beat you. Like, he haven't had many of those fights. You dig what I'm saying? Like, it's probably like maybe one fight that he's been in where I was like, damn, he might lose this one. You know what I'm saying? And that was the Kell Brook fight. In my personal opinion, you know, just based off of Kell Brook's track record, I'm like, damn, you know, Kell Brook might be able to pull this shit out. But obviously he was drained as fuck. Cheekbones was sunken in, coming back down to 147. He looked horrible. You know what I'm saying? And it showed in the fight. But outside of that fight, I can't think of any fight where Terrence Crawford, where people was like, damn, Crawford might not win this one. You know what I'm saying? I ain't seen that many fights for Terrence Crawford like that. So it's sad to see Terrence Crawford's career unfolding like this, because I'm such a huge fan of Terrence Crawford. I love that brother, man. I think he's a great fighter. I know he got all the tools, all the skills. I love his attitude outside the ring. Seemed like a humble guy, you know what I'm saying? But you can also tell that he got that mean streak as well. I love that mean streak. I love everything about Terrence Crawford, the fighter. You know what I'm saying? And his personality. Even though he don't talk a lot, he's not real outspoken and trying to sell fights. That's cool. You know what I'm saying? I feel like he got to start doing some different shit now, because whatever they've been doing ain't working. But Terrence Crawford, the fighter, and the guy, like, he seemed like a stand-up guy. But for whatever the reason is, bro, they not getting the fights. And Bomac, he was visibly upset, angry. You know what I'm saying? He was so angry. He started talking some crazy shit, talking about, oh, Mean Machine gonna stop Virgil Ortiz. I'm like, huh? Like, now you going too far. You know what I'm saying? Basically trying to make it seem like Mean Machine some monster or something to make Terrence Crawford look good. Like, yeah, you know, Mean Machine tough. Now, no disrespect to Mean Machine. He can fight. He's a professional fighter, so I respect him. He can fight. But, man, come on now. It might be a decent matchup with him and Virgil Ortiz, but stopping Virgil Ortiz? Hell no. I think he gonna fuck around and get stopped. Get in there with Virgil Ortiz, man. Shout out to Virgil Ortiz, man. That's Texas right there. You know what I'm saying? You know, so, but it's crazy, man. It's crazy that it's come to this. And I think this was like the defining moment in the whole Errol Spence, Terrence Crawford saga that just really, I mean, people already been saying it. People already been like, well, we know Errol Spence is here in the eyes of the people, the notoriety, the popularity, the accomplishments, all that. He's there. And then Terrence Crawford is just, you know what I'm saying? People been saying that, but the way this whole Manny Pacquiao situation played out, how Errol Spence, Al Heyman, Errol Spence Promotions, you know, Man Down Promotions and PBC, how they was able to close the deal on this shit, and top-ranked ESPN, Team Crawford, Bob Arum, they wasn't able to. This was like a defining factor in this whole saga, letting you know, like, look, these guys over here making shit happen while these motherfuckers, they bullshitting. And they got a track record of that. You know, so if Terrence Crawford re-signed with Top Rank in October, say goodbye. Say goodbye. I'm going to wash my hands with it. I'm going to still support Terrence Crawford because, you know, I support my guys, but I'm going to wash my hands with the whole, you know, coming out here being an advocate for him getting big fights and talking about he deserved this and he deserved that. And you deserve what you get if you re-sign with Bob Arum. Straight like that. But who is Terrence Crawford going to fight next? I wanted to ask y'all, who is his next opponent? Who is he going to fight next? They talking about he going to fight some dude named Cepeda from 140. I don't know who he is. I'm not going to cap. Yeah, I know I'm supposed to be a boxing analyst and a purist and all, bro. I don't know who Cepeda is. No cap. And I'm not even playing with you, bro. I never heard of him until a couple of days ago. Never heard of him. You know what I'm saying? And why is he fighting guys that's coming up from 140 anyway? You dig what I'm saying? So, I know Josh Taylor was talking about that he was open to fighting Terrence Crawford at 147. That's probably the only 140-pound fighter that I would deem as even worthy of getting in the ring with Terrence Crawford. And as much as I love JT, man, shout out to Josh Taylor, a.k.a. JT. That's my boy. I fuck with JT. Man, he ain't got shit for Terrence Crawford. And him going up to 147, that shit ain't going to prove nothing. Terrence Crawford beating the brakes off Josh Taylor ain't going to prove nothing. It'll be a decent little competitive fight for as long as it lasts, but that shit ain't going to prove nothing. He need to be fighting. Fuck all that. I ain't going to even say it because, Sean Porter, Errol Spence, Manny Pacquiao, Keith Thurman, Ugas. We already know the whole bullshit about why these dudes ain't making these fights with Crawford. But I want to ask y'all, in the current state of boxing and the current state of Terrence Crawford's career and his situation, who is he fighting in October? Who the hell is Terrence Crawford fighting in October? This man do not have an opponent yet. That's sad, bruh. Terrence Crawford ain't got an opponent yet, bruh. We need to know who this man gonna fight. I'm telling y'all, because if that Errol Spence fight get made next after this, bruh, it's gonna be bad for him because he ain't getting no smoke. He not working. You know, I know he in the gym and staying in shape and shit like that. And he, you know, Terrence Crawford is a professional, consummate professional, always in shape. You know what I'm saying? Always sharp when it comes to fight time. So I ain't worried about that. I'm just saying, though, like Errol Spence, he preparing. You see how he fought Sean Porter, rough, rugged, all around, very skilled fighter who got the tenacity and the grit. Then you finna get in there with a southpaw, Manny Pacquiao, all-time great. Manny Pacquiao is as good as he ever been right now. So it's damn near prime versus prime. You know what I'm saying? Manny Pacquiao coming out one of the biggest wins of his career. Errol Spence battle test. You fight Danny Garcia, one of the best counter punchers in the sport of boxing, was a top 5 welterweight when Earl fought him, fresh off the accident. Like, look at the guys that Errol Spence fought Mikey Garcia. You know what I'm saying? One of the best counter punchers in boxing, one of the most skilled fighters in boxing, was a top 5 pound for pound fighter when Errol Spence fought him. Like, these type of fights is preparing Errol Spence for the ultimate battle. When Earl get in there with Terrence Crawford, but it ain't gonna be shit that he ain't seen. It ain't gonna be shit that Errol Spence ain't seen when he get in there with Crawford. But when Crawford get in there with Spence, it's like, bruh, is you really ready for this? You know what I'm saying? So, I don't know. I just want to see the best fight whenever that fight do happen. But we ain't gonna put the motherfucking stagecoach before the horses. Earl still got to beat Manny Pacquiao, and Terrence Crawford still got to get past whoever he going to fight in October. So, y'all let me know what y'all think down in the comments. Did y'all see that interview with Bomac on Fight Hype? And let me know in the comments, man, who the hell is Terrence Crawford fighting in October? Maybe y'all know something that I don't know, man. Contender regime, boxing, I'll holler at y'all boys, man.